Hello, all. Symbiosis Center for Information and Technology welcomes you all to the 13th episode of On Air with Adcom. Today's discussion will focus on the future of product managers, balancing innovation, customer success, and security.
We are honored to have with us Mr. Adesh Singh, an accomplished product and business leader with over 2 decades of experience in SaaS, fintech, enterprise solutions, and emerging technologies. He currently serves as Director of Product at Chargebee, where he plays a pivotal role in scaling and receivables product. Previously, Mr. Singh served as Chief Product Officer at Numbers, where he led product and customer success, contributing significantly to its acquisition by Chargebee. His entrepreneurial experience includes co-founding My Senior Doctor and a telepath platform, and leading product and alliances initiative at Quack.
Earlier in his career, he had senior leadership positions at Oracle, Sapient, and ASAP Solution, where he managed enterprise sales, consulting, and global delivery across industries including banking, telecom, retail, and government. He holds a master's in information technology in distributed systems from Griffith University, Australia, and a bachelor's in commerce from the University of Calcutta. We are very delighted to have you with us today, sir. Thank you for joining this conversation. So, to begin with, the role of the product manager has undergone significant transformation in recent years. From your perspective, how has the role evolved, and what are the most notable changes you have observed in expectations from product managers today?
Okay, so I'll break that in three parts. I think evolving role of product manager, where it is today, and overall, how this role has evolved, I guess. So I think traditionally, especially in India and even globally to some extent, the product manager role used to be a role where everybody thought that they'll just go join and build features or build products, right? And and that was a sign of the times, because in the last, I would say, 8 years or so, the whole from the times when the likes of Zomato and Snapdeal and products like this started hitting the Indian markets, I would say 10 years. The whole evolution of product management in India especially was that, oh, I'm going to build this app, I'm going to build this B2C product, and we'll build new features on it and stuff like that. And I think that's how a lot of the early product managers in India started their careers. And that's how this career was born within organizations. I mean, if you transpose yourself from then to now, there is a sea change in the role. Today, it's not about products, it's about running businesses. If you look at a SaaS company, the product is the business, right? If you look at a product in a fintech world, for example, if say a rewards program in a Visa, Mastercard kind of company. Now that's also a product, right? Now that's not a digital product, but you still have to design a product. Same way, if you look at a new motor insurance policy being launched in an insurance company, right? That's also a product. There is a product manager for that who designs the entire product. How will it be sold? How will it be monetized? How will we make money from it? How will it be differentiated from other products in the market? I mean, to cut it short, I think the whole ecosystem of product has gone far beyond building features. So today, a product manager is actually a business leader in a way, especially in SaaS companies, right? Because again, as I said, the product is the business, right? So it's not about building features. It's about, how will it grow the business? And I think that's an evolutionary state that product management role is in, and it continues to be today. Of course, with AI in the picture, I would not say things have changed that much as it is hyped. I believe it's a slightly hyped technology, but anyway, we'll cover that later in the podcast. So I hope I was able to answer the question.
So, before we dive into heavier topics, let's take a quick ice-breaking session. So, it's called Two Truths and a Lie. We'll ask you to share three statements about your professional journey, and we'll try to guess which one is the lie. So, over to you, sir.
Okay. I think first principles is one of my key way of operating. Then organizational politics, maybe, and original thinking.
So, original thinking, I'm sure it's a truth. It's truth, definitely.
Yeah. So I think I'll go with the original truth and the first principle. Both are like,
The truth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Organization
even I'll
is the,
stick to it.
yeah.
Okay, great, sir. So coming to the next question. So innovation is considered central to product management, yet it often comes with challenges of feasibility and risk. So how should product managers strike the right balance between pursuing innovation and ensuring that the business is practical?
That answer is a no-brainer. What does the customer want? Should be the guiding factor for everything, right? This and the second North Star metric has to be how will you grow the business, right? Now, these two principles, innovation should feed into these two principles, not the other way around, right? And I think that's the truth for product management. Sometimes product management managers have to do very boring work, right? I'll give you a small example, like putting one button on the screen which will maybe download a summarized report for the business stakeholder is something 10, 20 customers have asked for. But the product manager thinks, no, no, we can apply AI to this and we can do that and we can do this. Why are we doing it in a simple way? Well, guess what? Customer doesn't care, right? As long as he'll press that button, he's going to get that report. Uh, and that's going to add 20 more customers to the business and make existing 30 customers happy. That should be the only North Star metric, right? Now, if that needs some kind of innovation to scale it to the next level, yes, innovation should be applied. But in a lot of cases, never about the innovation. It's about being smart about what you need to build, right? Innovation is how you need to build it and how you beat the competition. And these, see, innovative initiatives take time. Okay. Today, even if I want to add AI to my certain product features, it's going to take me a year, right? And now whether that's going to get me more customers or whether that's going to blow my current customer experience out of the park, maybe yes, maybe not. When you launch it, is that's the only time you're going to come to know, right? But whether putting a small feature which is not very innovative, right, but still is going to blow 20 customers out of the park, I would choose that. So it's a very fine line. Everybody wants to do innovation. Every youngster like you, when you enter industry next year, or some of you will get back to industry next year, everyone's feeling enthusiastic. Now let me do this in AI. I will use this, and I'll use this AWS technology. Well, to achieve what? Till you answer that question, everything is useless. Let me just be very, very blunt about that. Yeah.
I think one should think more about business practicality than putting innovation unnecessarily in everything. That should be the case. So coming up to next question, you have also led customer success functions. In your view, how critical is customer success in shaping the product roadmap, and what role does it play in long-term product adoption?
Customer success is the most critical function in shaping the product roadmap, especially when you're scaling the product, right? Suppose when I say scaling the product, I mean that till you have the first 20 customers, all product managers, entire company, everybody will get to talk to them because people will have the time. Okay. You reach your 75th customer, everybody is getting a little stretched for time. Product managers don't have too much time to talk to customers. A lot of things need to be shipped. So, you lose that connect. You hit 250 customers. That's the end of the story. Your only conduit into the world of customer is customer success. They are the ones who talk to customer every day and give you the feedback in terms of what's happening. What are customers liking? How did they like the previous feature? What is the common theme that they're hearing? And that feedback is like gold for a product manager. So working closely with customer success is not an option, right? It has to be done. And it is any successful product has only been successful when that partnership is good, solid, and one is not looking at the other as an adversary. And that happens a lot, right? Because the product guy will say, oh, I want to build this, I want to build this, but the customer success guy says nobody wants it. The customer success guy will say, oh, I want this feature for like last 1 year, but nobody in product is building it. That should not happen. There has to be a middle path and that has to be collaborative.
So as far as your experience is concerned, you have been building so many teams in so many companies for last 20 years. I would like to know how you have handled such conflict between customer success and technical team in order to, get to feasible business and getting things going.
I think my guiding factor personally is common sense. And I think that's a very underrated skill in the industry. I mean, if you go, you look at a lot of influencer videos and all of that. They're talking about a lot of hi-fi frameworks. Well, I have respect for them, but I just feel sitting there, talking to people, understanding what's going on is what solves problems. So yeah, applying your mind, being a little practical, looking at both the perspectives, breaking it down in front of you, and then finding a way forward is probably the correct way to go. Everybody needs some victory, you have to give it to them, right? But then what is the best thing for the customer is what you need to do.
So before next question, I'll like to have a rapid fire round.
Okay.
So I'll be asking few questions. You have to choose one. So first thing you check in the morning, emails or news?
News.
Okay. So Slack or email?
Slack any day.
One book every product manager must read.
There I'm a little stuck. I'm not very much into books. I believe in applying my mind and solving problems. So I'm not a big fan of reading many books. So I'm sorry I can't answer that.
Cool, cool. Meetings, love them or dread them?
Mostly dread them.
If you had to choose speed to market or flawless design?
Speed to market any day.
AI in products, game changer or overhyped?
Overhyped.
I was pretty sure about it. One word your team would use to describe you.
Cool.
That's good. Work from home or work from office?
Hybrid.
Hi. Okay. Which app do you secretly spend too much time on?
Oh Lord. Instagram.
So do you think? So, if not SaaS, which industry would you love to build in?
Something to do with art. I don't know what. Any kind of art. Music, photography, painting. I don't know. But yes, something to do with that.
Okay. Best piece of advice you have ever received in your career?
Okay. Hope is not a strategy.
Cool, cool. Worst product trend you have seen lately?
I would say all this rush to build AI products is going to not end well, is my view of the world. Yeah.
Okay. Feature you always wish more products had?
Interactive guides.
Okay. If you had to launch a product in 24 hours, what's the first thing you would do?
Build a prototype.
Okay, starting with the prototype. Coming up to next question. With increasing digital adoption, product managers today cannot overlook security. In your view, how central should security be in the product strategy, and what role should product managers play in ensuring it?
That's an interesting question. I think whether security plays a role or not, that's unquestionable. I think it's very central to any product today. Whether PMs have to think about it all the time, maybe not. Sometimes yes, depending on the feature. For example, if a product manager is working on a transaction authentication feature for a payment gateway, for a feature like that, yes, the PM will be very deeply involved in the security aspects of it because it's a very critical function. There can be financial losses if it's not done well, if the strategy, the security and redundancy is not thought through. But mostly, a lot of times, the security is the role of the techies, right? And to be honest, even that line is getting very blurred today. Who's the techie? Who's the product manager? I think everything is merging into one. But then in a classical product manager role, if tech and product is a slightly separate function, then it is the techie who has to think about the security a lot more because a lot of times the physical code that is being deployed is not written by the PM. So, and most of the security flaws are in architecture, which need to be fixed. So yeah, it's a gray area, but I would say it lies more on the tech side than on the classical PM side. But while designing or thinking about any kind of feature, it is important that the PM does his research and at least writes on the requirement sheet that, okay, these are some of the considerations we should have here, right? Because this feature demands this feature. Now, whether to twist that example a little differently, now suppose, what about if you have a code injection attack on the server. Now, PM can do anything about that. If your code is not written securely, which is solely the responsibility of the tech team, PM will not even know. So yeah, certain areas PM has not much role to play at all, because a lot of things are on the infrastructure side. But in some kind of features and some kind of roles, it is important to look at security aspects. But security is central to product now, so all teams have to be aware. That's very important. Yeah, that's my take.
So the ownership goes with the tech team more than the product team, right?
That's always an easy statement for one to get away with. So I would never put it like that on a banner in my office, right? But but yes, practically, yes, a tech team has bigger ownership on that side.
Sir, so many of our listeners today are students who are preparing to enter the industry. So, for someone aspiring to build a career in product management, what are the core skills and qualities one should begin developing right now? And also, as students from an institute like ours, like we have technology and management coming together. So, how should we position ourselves to stand out in this competitive landscape?
That's an interesting one. Look, I am a little bit over-indexed on first principle thinking, and I think I've said that thrice in the last 20 minutes, and I will say that, as business school students, there is a lot of, and especially in all the social noise these days, there's a lot of tendency to, think of stuff like, Musk does it like this, and Tim Cook used to do it like this, and this framework has come from Bill Gates or this, whoever your fan club is, whoever you're a fanboy of in the product world. So as students, you try to ape those concepts, right? And let me tell you one thing about frameworks. What works for one does not work for the other. And a lot of frameworks are good when you are experienced enough to understand them. So always apply first principle to the problem you're thinking. Be a little always customer focused, right? Being collaborative in the workplace, trying to understand more is also important. How do you position your work? Now, a lot of you will go and work in larger companies. There is very important. It's not only about doing the right thing, it's about being visible. And that's an unfortunate reality. So you have to learn to do that. If you're going to a smaller company, being visible will not be the problem. Being extremely productive and sharp is what is going to get noticed. So depending on the environment you're getting into, it's important to understand, gauge it, right, and see what it takes to be successful there, right? But never ever give up first principles in favor of what you've read in hundreds of books and frameworks and famous. Read all that, take something away from that, but don't try to just force fit everything into every situation, right? Every situation is unique. Look at it closely, understand it, make your notes. And I think one advice I'll give everybody, right, is write a lot. Even when you are given any task, when you're given any assignment, when you're given any work, write. Because why writing is important? Two reasons. One, it helps you think a lot more clearly, right? You have some abstract ideas and you have to communicate to a team. So once you write it, and you read it again, especially in this age of AI, the more you write, the more you can brainstorm with your writing, with the world's writing, and come up with a consensus on what is the correct way, right, in certain areas. So, but it also gives you a lot of clarity in your own head. When you read it second time, third time, you'll realize that a lot of things you're thinking is wrong. And the only reason you're realizing that is because you're looking at it visually now, right? So far, it was in your mind. Secondly, why it's important is when you have to communicate your point to like 20 people, 30 people teams, right? They got to go and read. You send them a link that say, first read, understand what's in my mind. Then now they will only understand if you write well. If you write an essay of 40 pages, nobody will understand what you're saying. But if you're able to summarize, you have an essay of 40 pages, and then you're going to give a summary of 5 pages, and then they can further use AI to summarize it in half a page. Right? They will understand the crux of what what you're trying to tell them. Then the discussion starts from there, rather than you going on whiteboards and going on trying to explain 20 people in a room for 2 days, what are you trying to say? So do not underestimate the power of writing, and especially in today's world, in the world of AI. The more you write, the more you can, simple thing, the more you can bounce it off with AI, right? Or, okay, you can say, no, okay, now text to speech or speech to text is so good, I can even speak. Okay, speak. But still, you will realize one day that when you're speaking, you're not able to think very clearly. But when you're writing, that writing space is a very, very sacred space, right? And so I would index on that a lot. But different things work for different people. So yeah.
That was very insightful, sir. It was very well explained too, and I'm sure it will be helpful for a lot of listeners.
Yeah.
So before we conclude, we'd like to ask slightly lighter questions, like if you had not chosen product management as your career path, which other profession would you have pursued?
Like anything that is creative is something what I would like to work on. It excites me. But yes, I would like to be in some creative field.
Right, sir.
And lastly, since product managers are often deal with competing priorities, if you could only pick one superpower to make your job easier, what would it be?
See, prioritization frameworks are different for different people. I think for some it's just a gut feel. For some it is data driven. It all depends on the environment you're working, kind of product you're working on, right? For me, prioritization framework is very simple. If I have 20 things to do, I write them down. I write a lot on Notion. I write them down, and then after that, I just try to figure out whatever framework I like. I'm just trying to think how do I prioritize. I think for me, it is that what is the needle mover for the business, right? I think that's how I prioritize things. Whatever the biggest needle mover for the business that I'm trying to address, what is going to get me maximum customers, what can help me sell more is where I apply filters. And that's when I remove 20 things that, okay, these 20 will move nothing for me. It's creating a lot of noise in the system, but at the end of the day, it's not a needle mover, right? And that's when you see those three things that, okay, while these things are not creating noise right now, but this will bite us in the future, right? Because this is a theme that is evolving, then I would look at that. So yeah, but as I said, prioritizing frameworks depend on the environment you're working in. Every situation needs a different, but you have to have one. That's important.
Yes, so as you have mentioned that you write a lot on Notion, could you please suggest few applications, emerging applications or AI tools, non-AI tools, which someone who is entering the industry or trying to be the part of the industry should start working on?
Well, there's one beautiful tool which we all ignore is our own brain, right? Use
Absolutely.
use that the most. Never start writing with AI. First, use your brain to write, and then use AI to make it better, right? If you start writing with AI, your brain, your gray matters, your neurons don't really fire up, right? You are going on prompting, seeing what it's telling you, and you're forming your thoughts based on what it's telling you, and the originality goes away. So it's very important. Again, I would go back to the fourth or the fifth time in this conversation. Apply first principle, apply your mind, write it down, take the time, don't be lazy, right? And then you can use whatever tools you want the world to fix it. But the first step is always to apply your own mind, in my view.
Yes.
Tools don't create any innovation, let me tell you that. Tools enhance innovations, right? So your brain, our brain, someone's brain created the bulb, brains created the plane, right? AI is not going to
Yes.
create plane, right? AI will enhance. AI can make the wingspan better, comparing it to like all the jets in the world, to say how you can save better fuel by this kind of design, because of all the brain people have applied in designing all the planes in the world. The data exists. So you can't create data with AI. You can use AI or all other tools to understand, assimilate, and disseminate data better, right? And I think that's, in my view, that's the way to look at it. And that's my biggest advice to youngsters. Don't let your brain die. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, sir, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. On behalf of Symbiosis Center for Information and Technology and the Admissions Committee, we sincerely appreciate your time and perspectives.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning into a 13th episode of On Air with Adcom. Stay tuned for more thought-provoking conversations in the episodes ahead.